frankly, when Kerryon Johnson's not at 100%, Auburn is a different football team.
And then, of course, it's whoever wins the turnover battle is going to play a big role in who wins this ball game.
Oh, there's no doubt. And that's always the case, particularly when you've got a game like this. These are two line of scrimmage teams, Rory. They like to run the ball, they like to do play-action pass, and they both play great defense.
Now, we know the winner of this game is going to the playoffs. Does Alabama have a shot if the chips fall their way and they get some help with Oklahoma and Wisconsin losing?
Yeah, the trick there is, if Oklahoma and Wisconsin both win, then Alabama doesn't have a shot. But particularly, I think the argument's going to come down to what happens in the Big Ten Championship. If Wisconsin wins, then Wisconsin is going to be in, and
right.
Alabama's not going to get in. I think Alabama's best chance is for Ohio State to win the Big Ten Championship of Wisconsin, and then there will be an argument who should go. Ohio State at 11-2, Alabama at 11-1. Ohio State with two really bad losses, one at home to Oklahoma, one on the road to Iowa. Alabama could say, look, we only lost one game, and that was to Auburn, which will certainly be a top 5, top 4 team when this game is played on Saturday. So it'll be an interesting argument, to be sure.
And then the precedent was already set last year with Ohio State making it without winning a conference championship game.
That's exactly right. And they did not include the Big Ten champion Penn State, even though Penn State had beaten Ohio State head-to-head.
Right.
Penn State had 2 losses, and that kept them out of the 4 teams in the playoffs. So that's why it's going to be such a fascinating argument, because of what happened last year.
Right. So we'll close out with a trifecta of questions. What's your game prediction and a final score for the SEC championship game?
I think it's going to be closer than the first game. I think Auburn finds a way to win 24-21.
What's your prediction on the playoff?
Your 4 teams are going to be Auburn, Clemson, Oklahoma, Wisconsin.
And who wins the national championship?
Boy, right now, I don't know, Roy. You'll have to call me back on that. I got to see these teams play and see who plays who. But right now, I think Oklahoma is probably the best team in the country.
Wow. And when we had you on back in August for the start of the year, you did call that it was going to be, you said Alabama wasn't going to be in the championship game. You had Oklahoma and Ohio State. So halfway there with Oklahoma, and they are a monster squad.
They really are. And they've got the best player in the country in Baker Mayfield, and they are hard to stop. If they can get a few defensive stops, they are a hard team to beat.
Well, Tony, that's why we have you on. You're Mr. College Football. You've forgotten more about the sport than a lot of people remember. Thank you so much for joining us on Married to the Game. And when that national championship game comes up and we do our preview segment, we got to get you back on the program.
All right, Roy, that sounds good.
So we kick things off here in our backyard.
Of course.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Take care of home
for the
first.
SEC championship game.
No doubt.
How about we jump in the car?
All right.
Get on I-85.
All right.
Head north about a little over 3 hours, 3 hours and some change when you're flooring it, to Charlotte, North Carolina for the ACC championship game. The Miami Hurricanes versus the Clemson Tigers at Bank of America Stadium. That's where the Carolina Panthers play there.
Miami Hurricanes.
The
orange and green.
Yeah.
Clemson Tigers, orange and white.
And purple. And they're the defending national champions.
Because that's where Watson came from.
Deshaun Watson, yes.
You see, you thought I wasn't paying attention to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Give me my wood. Come on.
Clemson, not only have they won the last 2 ACC championship games, but they were in the last 2 national championship games, and they won it last year. Miami, now they had a dynasty back in the 80s and the early 90s.
I remember that.
And then again in the early 2000s, so many great stars have come out of the U.
A lot.
Michael Irvin, Sean Taylor, Warren Sapp, Jerome Brown, Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Ed Reed. I could just keep going on and on and on. Greg Olson. Yeah.
And I had my Miami Hurricane gear back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Because it was hot.
Okay. They're looking to make their mark as being back on the national scene. And a win here definitely takes care of that. The winner of this game is going to the college football playoff.
All right.
For the off-the-field activities, though, there's a lot of things going on, just like the SEC. The luncheons, the alumni is going to be there. They have a
fancy dinner.
Yeah. And the ACC Night of Legends presented by the Charlotte Sports Foundation. That's going down Friday, December 1st at the Charlotte Convention Center. So there's a lot of stars that back in the day, some not too far back in the day.
That sounds hot right there.
That are going to be there. Yeah, real fancy dinner. Not the rubber chicken, the good chicken. Some nice wine, good drinks that'll be there.
You know I like those drinks.
And the tickets are already sold out. So
wow, that's a good look.
Yeah. It's going to be hot. This is right up your alley, though. Saturday, December 2nd, they got a 5K kids and mascot run.
Now you know that's
Uptown Charlotte.
Who was a mascot back in the day? Me.
So yeah, you would have to put on like the Miami mascot. I think it's one of those birds or something like that. And the Clemson Tiger, they'll be there mixing
really
it in
cool.
with all the other
fun.
ACC schools mascots. They got a fan fest just like here in Atlanta. It's going to be packed. You know, at the fan fest where you get to walk around, see so many different activities and the tailgating. All of these championship games are going to have some good tailgating going on outside. And Bank of America Stadium's parking lot's going to be packed.
You know what? I need me a truck with a wraparound that just say, who tailgating now? And I need to drive around everybody tailgating. That's what I'm talking about.
Just like we did with the SEC, I need a prediction and I need a score.
Well,
Miami, Clemson.
All day, every day. I love the underdog. I'm going for Miami. And with this one right here, of course, you know, Clemson is they tight. So I'm saying that Miami go come out just by a hair, just by a touchdown. So we go with a score of 34-38.
Well, no.
Why? What's wrong with that, though? 4
points is not a touchdown. That's less than a touchdown. So you're saying Miami's winning 38-34?
Yeah, because this is a different kind of game, yo.
Okay.
This is a different kind of game,
High-scoring game.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Porter of the Palm Beach Post.
He agreed with me, don't he?
He covers Miami, so he'll know really what's going on.
Of course.
He chimes in on this clash. I'm taking Clemson, and I didn't mention it earlier, but
what?
I'm also taking Auburn. We need to hang out with Matt because he's down there in South Beach and Coconut Grove.
That's what you know what I'm talking about.
Matt Porter, thank you so much for joining us today on Married to the Game.
Of course.
So we'll just dive right in. It's championship week, ACC championship game, Miami Hurricanes and the Clemson Tigers. And you cover Miami. Tough loss last weekend against Pitt. What's the outlook for the Hurricanes coming into this game?
You know, I think a lot of the fans are worried, and, you know, fans are going to be that way. They're going to, you know, ride high after a loss. I mean, after a win and, you know, get down after a loss. That's pretty natural. But I don't know. I think Miami's still in a pretty good spot. You know, Malik Rozier struggled against Pitt. There's no doubt about that. It was his worst game of the season. But he has shown that when the competition rises and when there's a lot of energy and, you know, he, as a first-year starter, you know, he hasn't really found the consistency. But, you know, when the game is big, he's played big.
Clemson, they're king of the hill in the ACC. Any trepidation about that going into the game?
I don't think so. I think Miami is, you know, I mean, clearly Clemson is the gold standard. I mean, defending national champions, played for it, you know, twice, you know, the last 2 years. Has recruited as well as any program in the country. A ton of talent, even though they lost, you know, Deshaun Watson and some other players. But I think Miami loves being the underdog. They've shown that all year, that when they've been doubted, because, you know, they were doubted really all year long going up to Tallahassee and winning up there, you know, on down the line, surviving close games, national media telling them that they weren't a legitimate national championship contender. They heard it all week before Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is going to win the Coastal. Miami won the Coastal, and then obviously Notre Dame. You know, all the bad blood in that rivalry, and you know, being an underdog at home to Notre Dame. So Miami's thrived off that all year, and I think that's always kind of been the way the Canes have been. You know, it's us against the world, and I think they'll be more than happy to be the underdog in this game.
Who has the worst loss? Is it Miami's loss to Pitt because it was the last regular season game, or Clemson on a Friday night up in Syracuse?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would have to say Miami's loss just because, you know, Friday night, road game,
They lost, pretty close, and, they looked okay. Their quarterback was hurt and all that stuff. I thought Syracuse outplayed Clemson in that game, don't get me wrong. And it was really kind of the shades of the same thing, a heavily favored, highly ranked team going up, on the road in a game that, everybody's kind of saying, oh, well, they'll roll over them, and the home team got fired up and played really well. I think there's probably going to be a little bit of bias towards this on the committee, just because this game is so fresh and the committee just watched Malik Rozier miss open receivers and, just watched Miami unable to, score more than one touchdown off the 2 turnovers and, just kind of generally stink it up for, 3.5 quarters until they got a touchdown late and, put a drive together. So I would have to say it's the worst loss. I mean, Miami's got an undefeated season on the table right there. All they got to do is beat a 4-17.
Right.
And they couldn't get it. Then they couldn't get it done.
Okay, well, I'll get you out of here on this one. What will it take for Miami to win this game, and what's it going to take for Clemson to win this game?
Well, I'm glad you asked me for a pick because it's still a little early. Right now, I'd probably lean Clemson, just based on and this is obviously, I don't want to spoil anything, but, we are recording this before the Clemson-South Carolina game, so if Clemson loses South Carolina, I think we're having a different conversation. But
right.
We know what Miami is at this point. We know that, and we saw the worst of Malik Rozier, against Pittsburgh, and he is a quarterback who will miss throws, he will throw interceptions, he will turn the ball over. It's just a matter of Miami's defense surviving that, getting the ball back, getting short field. Miami has explosive power on offense. They can hit a deep shot as good as anybody with those receivers that they have. And for Clemson, it's really the same thing. I mean, they need Kelly Bryant to limit his mistakes. He's not a great downfield passer. He is a talented quarterback, but he's his first-year starter. A lot like Malik Rozier, he's still trying to figure out who he is and what he can do. And I think Clemson's offense, after relying so heavily on the amazing talents of Deshaun Watson, are still trying to figure that out as well. 2 great defenses. I think both front sevens could wreck the game for either side. So really 2 similar teams in that regard. I think Clemson's deeper and more talented at this point, so I'd probably lean them.
Well, I appreciate that, and thank you for joining us on Married to the Game. Hey, give all your social media info so people can keep track on what you got going on.
Sure, yeah. I'll be up in Charlotte later this week, and you can follow me on Twitter at Matty Ports, MattyPorts. I throw out links to all my content on that. We have a Facebook page post on Miami Hurricanes. If you're a Hurricanes fan, that's the spot to be. But obviously, keep listening to Married to the Game and get your insight there as well.
Thanks, Matt, and for joining us while waiting in line at the airport. That's dedication, and I appreciate that.
I do it my own way. I'm married to the game.
Thanks so much, man.
So now we've covered 2 of the Power 5 conferences.
SEC.
And we did the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
The next up is the Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Naptown, Indianapolis.
All right.
Is the site of the Big Ten Championship Game, featuring the undefeated Wisconsin Badgers versus the Ohio State Buckeyes, Lucas Oil Stadium.
Okay.
You once lived in Indy.
Yes.
And your best friend is up there.
Yes, she is.
And you got family in Wisconsin.
Yes, I do.
The Badgers, they're looking for some respect, some national respect. They're undefeated, right? But their strength of schedule isn't all that as compared to a lot of other squads.
What you mean?
So it's like, okay, you're undefeated, but the talent level of the teams you're beating.
Oh, you mean they're undefeated because they're playing some weak, crappy teams, to be honest.
On a national perspective, compared to, like, Georgia has 1 loss, and Georgia's 1 loss was against Auburn.
Okay.
So that game is a rematch.
Mm-hmm.
But Georgia, are they saying that Georgia has a tougher schedule?
Because they have tougher opponents. Because it depends upon who you're scheduled to play.
But that's not to take anything away from Wisconsin. You play what's in front of you.
Right.
You can't help it if you're that good and the rest of the teams in your conference
suck.
Aren't stepping their game up.
Let's just say it like it is.
But if Wisconsin wins, they're in the playoff. The Ohio State University. This is their 3rd championship game appearance. They were there last in 2013 and then again in 2014. Wisconsin, this is their second appearance and 5th overall. They got a Big Ten Fan Fest too that's going on in Indianapolis.
Of course.
At the